पहले से उसको देखती हो।
ये आपका फोन दे दिया आपने मुझे। हाँ आ गया वो, मैंने कब बता दूँ, ठीक है।
शॉर्ट को वो करते हैं बस।
हाँ वो कह रहे हैं ये पढ़ के फिर मतलब ये पढ़ के पूरे 6 पढ़ फिर 2 पढ़ा अच्छे से।
नहीं इतना ही पढ़ो थोड़ा।
हाँ अब
तो ध्यान करेंगे और उसको सुन लेंगे फिर बात करेंगे।
सुनना अच्छा ठीक है। मॉर्निंग चैंटिंग पेज 2। योऽसो भगवा अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो स्वाक्षातो येन भगवता धम्मो सुपटिपन्नो यस्य भगवतो सावकसङ्घो तमयं भगवन्तं सधम्मं ससङ्गम् इमे हि सखारे यथा अर्हम् आरोपिते हि अभिपूजयामा साधुनो भन्ते भगवा शुचिरपरिनिर्वृतोऽपि पश्चिमा जनतानुकम्पमानसा इमे सकारे दुर्गतपणा कारभूते पटिगणातु अम्हाकं दीर्घरतं हिताय सुखाय अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो भगवा बुद्धं भगवन्तम् अभिवादीमि स्वाक्षातो भगवता धम्मो धम्मं नमस्सामि सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावकसङ्घो संघं नमामि। अन्धमयं बुद्धस्य भगवतो उपभागनमकारं करोमसि नमो तस्य भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य नमो तस्य भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य नमो तस्य भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य।
We'll now meditate for some time and listen to a short reflection.
Connected to 1 plus 3T.
Reflecting on these
बटन गलती
1 plus 3T, disconnected, ready to pair, connected to 1 plus 3T.
different characteristics of existence, these different lakkhana. Yesterday speaking about emptiness and suchness, sunyata, emptiness, tatata, suchness. These are ways of reflecting upon the field of experience, the characteristics of existence. In a way, when there's the reflection upon emptiness, seeing all things, all thoughts, feelings, perceptions, intentions, sensations as empty, then the mind is saying no to the world of that. It's no thing really there, nothing solid, nothing substantial. And then at the other end of the scale, reflecting on suchness. It's a way of the mind saying yes to the field of experience. It's this way. Here it is. In this moment, it's thus, such. It's this way. Saying yes to the world of all that. Yes to the field of experience. Here it is. It's this way. In Ajahn Buddhadasa's formulation of these reflections, these characteristics of experience, then the third member of that group, along with sunyata and tatata, emptiness and suchness, then he names as the the ultimate Buddhist concept, the most refined and the most illuminating of those three reflections is what is called atammayata. There's no good English word that encompasses the meaning of this. It's not a very common word in Pali. Only appears in 5 or 6 places in the Pali canon. But what it means is literally not, tam, that, maya, made, not made of that, or not thatness. So whereas sunyata is saying no to the world of that, tatata, suchness, is saying yes to the world of that. Atammayata is saying there is no that. That sense of a subject and an object, an experiencer in here and an experienced, a that out there. That too is a construction. It's a formulation, a fabrication. So it's a letting go of the subject-object duality. You can call it subjectless, objectless awareness. The mind is awake, it knows, but it's not creating a subject that is the knower and an object that is the known. There's simply knowing. The word atammayata, Ajahn Buddhadasa said, this is the supreme concept, the ultimate Buddhist concept, the most refined and illuminating of all qualities, the most liberating of all qualities. When it's reflected on, when it's realized, then all of that false duality of a me here and a world out there, that's unplugged, dissolved. The mind, which the nature of which is Dhamma, is aware of the field of experience, which also is of the nature of Dhamma. So you can also say when atammayata, when that subject-object duality is let go of, what is realized is Dhamma, aware of its own nature. Or the mind, the heart, aware of its own nature. Every aspect of this body, this mind, is part of the natural order. Its nature is Dhamma. It's Dhammata, of the nature of Dhamma. So if the mind, the heart is Dhamma, and the patterns of experience are Dhamma, then when this full sense of me and the world falls away, there's simply Dhamma knowing its own nature. It's not personal. There's no internal and external. It's just the Dhamma that is this mind, knowing its fundamental nature, its fundamental qualities. And in that, the heart is freed. Freed from time, freed from identity, freed from location, freed from three-dimensional space, being somewhere. The heart is awake, aware, free, boundless. Knowing its own unborn, undying, non-personal quality. Unlocated, non-personal, timeless, unborn, undying. So it's not like we were born and then the deathless is something that's acquired, or the unborn is something that's got from somewhere else. It's recognizing that from the very beginning, this was the nature of this heart, this mind. Its very fundamental quality was always unborn, unconditioned, uncreated, unformed. It's not a thing that's somewhere else, some kind of super quality elsewhere that we've hope we can get access to if we're lucky. But it's been the very nature of what we are all along. The jewel that we've carried with us, even though we might not have realized it was here. It was the very nature of what we are. So atamayata, that quality of not made of that, the word is based on the ancient Indian understanding of perception. As if when we see an object, the eye sends out a kind of ray that occupies the object, takes the form of the object, and then becomes consistent with that. Tammayata. It comes back and is known by the mind. So there's this kind of energy that goes out, occupies an object, takes the form of it, becomes consubstantial with that object, and brings the message back. A going out, a taking form, and a coming back. So the word attamayata is the opposite of that. The mind's energy does not go out, doesn't get born into an object. A thing that we see or smell or taste or touch, an opinion, a memory, a plan for the future, a recollection of the past, emotions of loving, hating, fearing, wanting, delighting, regretting. The mind's energy does not get born into an object to bring it back to a subject. There's no birth. The attention is not getting lost, born into the patterns of experience. Beautiful, ugly, delicious, disgusting. Mine, yours, here, there, inside, outside. It's not giving any energy, not giving life to those distinctions. One of Luang Por Sumedho's favorite expressions in Pali is where the Buddha describes this awakened awareness, this kind of subjectless, objectless awareness. This, in the Pali, is vinyanang anidasanang anantang sabato pabang. That consciousness, that awareness, vinyanang anidasanang, which is formless, non-manifestative. Anantang, limitless, boundless, infinite. Sabato pabang, radiant in all directions, or accessible from every side. So it's infinite in capacity. Awake, aware, limitless, bright. And as the Buddha describes in that teaching, on the basis of that consciousness, that awareness, that quality, long and short and coarse and fine and pure and impure, they cannot find a footing. They have no place to land. They can't get any traction. The mind is awake, it knows, but those distinctions of long, short, coarse, fine, pure, impure, mine, yours, subject, object, they don't have any substance. They can't get a grip. They can't find a footing. There's no place to land, nowhere for the dust to fall. So this doesn't mean that the mind is spaced out or disconnected, dissociated from seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, functioning in the human family. Not at all. Rather, it means that those distinctions of coarse and fine are known to be convenient fictions. Subject, object, in here, out there. These are just relative or partial convenient ways of speaking. There's no real division there. When we say something is beautiful, it's known immediately that's just a conditioned subjective impression. How could it not be? When the mind says something is ugly, at once it knows, well, that's only relative. It's just from a particular point of view. Call something long or short. Well, compared to what? The temple at Amravati is big compared to the size of an atom, tiny compared to the size of the galaxy, the universe. So, is the whole big or small? An atom is huge compared to the size of a quark. What do we compare quarks to? So, long and short, coarse and fine, pure and impure, mine and yours. The awake mind, when the mind is embodying that quality of atamayata, it knows those distinctions and is not confused by them, is awake to them. As the Buddha said in the teaching to Bahir, if the mind reflects in the seen, there is only the seen. In the heard, there is only the heard. In the sensed, there is only the sensed. In seeing, in smelling, tasting, touching. In the cognized, there is only the cognized. There's just seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, feeling, thinking. It's just that. When that's realized, then there's the recognition there's no thing there. There's no solid, permanent, separate object out there. And similarly, there's no person, no I, who's the experiencer. There's no thing here on the subject side. And then as he says to Bahir, once you realize there is no thing there and no thing here, then you will not be able to find a self in the world of this or the world of that, or anywhere between the two. The mind, the heart, stops conceiving the world in terms of self and other. My life and the world. Me in here, you out there. It sees those as convenient fictions, empty, insubstantial. There's a quality of suchness, presence. The mind is awake to this present reality, awake to the Dhamma. Profound, immeasurable, unfathomable, aware, but doesn't have to create a concept about that, doesn't have to create a name or an identity, a me who's got that, or me who wants that, or a me who aspires to that. It's just knowing, awake. It is that already. It's that we don't need to want to feel gravity. It's felt. It's operating already. Can't get away from it. So the Dhamma that is the very nature of the heart, the mind, this body, this mind, this world, this universe, it can't be lost. It can't not be what you are. It already is, always was. So the practice and the use of these reflections is a way of letting go of the habit of being born. Being born into like and dislike, pleasant and painful, beautiful, ugly, right and wrong, delicious, disgusting. Training the mind not to be born, not to go out and get lost in its perceptions, its moods, its memories, its opinions. To know those as they arise, take shape, dissolve. That's the training, to see the habits of the mind getting lost in its own creations. And when that training is actualized, the mind is guided. It learns how not to be born, and not to create subject and object. Then it's awake, delighting in the present. attuned to the way things are, not trying to get anything, not trying to get rid of anything. Awake, attuned. In those moments when the heart is embodying this quality of awakened awareness, knowing, feel that, recognize that. How is it? Even if it's just half a second during a whole day, notice that. When the mind lets go of subject and object here and there, when there is no that, it's just subjectless, objectless awareness, knowing. How is it? What is its quality? Let that really be known, fully realized. Let that realization have its own effect. There's no person who needs to keep it or get it, have an opinion about it, or write a poem about it. Just know that directly. Awaken to that. Let that awakenness, let that realization have its effect. This morning we chanted the
घूम गया
इससे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, आप कोई दिक्कत है उससे।
अंदर ही अंदर
हाँ, मंगल मैत्री करते हैं, प्रैक्टिस मेहता। पहले क्रम से मैत्री का चैंटिंग करते हुए मैत्री का भाव जगाएंगे और शरीर में मैत्री की तरंगे जागेंगी और उसके बाद फिर सभी दिशाओं में फैलाएंगे। अहं अवीरोऽहम् अव्यापञ्जोऽहम् अनीगोऽहम् सुखी अत्तानं परिहरामि। मम माता पितु आचार्या च ज्ञातिमित्ता च सब्रह्मचारिणो च अविराहोऽन्तु अव्यापज्जाहोऽन्तु अनिगाहोऽन्तु सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। आरक्षा देवता भूमट्ठा देवता रुखट्ठा देवता आकाशट्ठा देवता अविराहोऽन्तु अव्यापज्जाहोऽन्तु अनिगाहोऽन्तु सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। सब्बे सत्ता सब्बे पाना सब्बे भूता सब्बे पुंगला सब्बे अत्ता भाव पर्यापन्ना सब्बा इत्थियो सब्बे पुरुषा सब्बे अरिया सब्बे अनरिया सब्बे देवा सब्बे मनुष्या सब्बे विनिपातिका अविराहोऽन्तु अव्यापज्जाहोऽन्तु अनिगाहोऽन्तु सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। अब शरीर में वेदनाओं को व्याप्त करते हैं, तरंगों को मैत्री की। ये किताब दे दे। मैत्ता सहगतेन चेतसा एकं दिशं पहित्वा विहरति। तो एक दिशा में मैत्री के चित्त के साथ रहते हुए उसको फैलाते हैं, एक दिशा को मैत्री से व्याप्त करते हैं। मन में भाव बना रहे कि सभी इस दिशा में रहने वाले सभी प्राणी वैर से मुक्त हों, द्वेष से मुक्त हों, चिंता से मुक्त हों, सुखपूर्वक मैत्रीपूर्वक रहें। तथा द्वितीयं तथा तृतीयं तथा चतुर्थम। तब दूसरी, तीसरी और चौथी डायरेक्शंस में भी एक एक करके तरंगों को फैलाने का काम करते हैं। इसी उद्धम अथो तिरियम सब्बधि सब्बतताय सब्बावंतं लोकम। अब इन चारों दिशाओं के बीच की आड़ी तिरछी दिशा है और नीचे की दिशा, ऊपर की दिशा, उद्धम अधो तिरियम सब्बधि सब्बतताय सब्बावंतं लोकम। दसों दिशाओं में, सारे लोकों में तरंगों को व्याप्त करने का भाव रखते हैं मन में। जब इस प्रकार हम ध्यान करते हैं तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि मैं विपुल, महान, असीम, निर्वैर, द्वेष रहित, मैत्री संपन्न चित्त से व्याप्त कर विहार करता हूँ। तो ये भगवान का निर्देश है। मैत्ता सहगतेन चेतसा विपुलेन महगतेन अपमानेन अवेरेन अव्यापज्येन फरितवा विहरति। भगवान कहते हैं कि हमको दिन रात चलते फिरते बैठते सोते इसी तरह मैत्री से चित्त से विहार करना चाहिए, तो सचमुच में हमारी मैत्री भावना प्रबल होगी। थोड़ी देर ऐसे ही तरंगों को अनुभव करते हुए फिर इसका समापन करेंगे। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता सर्वबुद्धानुभावेन सदा सुखी भवन्तु ते। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता सर्वधर्मानुभावेन सदा सुखी भवन्तु ते। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता सर्वसङ्घानुभावेन सदा सुखी भवन्तु मे। अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो भगवा बुद्धं भगवन्तं अभिवादे। स्वागतो भगवता धम्मो धम्मं नमस्सामि। सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो